please. Coach?
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Fired up about the win. A year ago at this time, obviously we ended up on the short end in a game that we maybe didn't start the right way. And, I think the way that our guys worked this offseason, I think it showed up in the second half. By far a work of art. But, to go in the locker room down 2 and walk back in the locker room up 2 scores, I think shows a great response and great resiliency by our guys. But a lot of self-inflicted wounds, turnovers, penalties offensively when we had big plays, explosive pass plays that we gave up there in the second quarter. But then, we had guys go down and guys stepped up. And, to see the way that happened, I'm very proud of our young men. So it's great to get a win because a year ago at this time, 365 days ago, we were talking about something totally different. So that's positive, but a ton of work to do. And our guys are going to learn a ton from this tape, especially when we went in not really knowing what we were going to get from Nevada. And obviously in the first half it showed. I mean, we expected to have to adjust. We expected to have to make some changes, and we did that. And I thought the staff did a really good job coming out, like I said, down 2 scores, going in the locker room, coming out or back into it, up 2 scores with a win. So with that, how about some questions?
Did you have any kind of a difficult decision on the 4th and 1 where Clayton ended up powering it in?
At the end of the game? No. Yeah, the go-ahead touchdown? No, not at all. No, I mean, we talked through all those scenarios, Teddy. I mean, really, it's one of those games, right, where you're kind of, we had like 3 or 4. It seemed like we're kind of in that no man's land, right? We're kicking into the wind. I got a young kicker. I'm going to try to put him in position to be successful. I'm not going to ask him to do something that maybe would be unfair to him. And then, you look at different things and scenarios that we work on all the time. And I really think, outside of the turnover and then the errant throw, I thought we were pretty efficient on 4th down. Because even the turnover, we picked it up, so.
And the play call to have the quarterback sneak and Clayton's big body, is that part of why you did it?
Yeah, that and, just some of the things that we saw from what they were doing schematically. They had a lot of guys in different areas as we were watching the plays unfold in those types of situations that we felt we could take advantage of that. But we've got a pretty diverse package when it comes to that. If you're going to put 4 guys in the A-gap, then we got to go somewhere else. If you're going to put everybody up on the line, the 1 4th down call was great. We get guy wide open, so things of that nature. So I thought Mick called, a really good game. We got a lot of things we got to clean up, obviously across the board on all 3 phases. But to get a win and to do it in the fashion that we did, I'm really proud of our guys' response.
Sticking on the 4th down theme, on the 4th down and short at the 27 with the misfire, was that just being aggressive, or how were you your kicking game not being confident in the kicking game, did that play a factor?
What's that, a 44-yarder into the wind? Yeah, that's one of those that I'm talking about. You're right. You're in no man's land. You know what I'm saying? And what were we up at that point? Were we down 3? Tie game? Yeah, aggressive play call. Is that okay? All right, I'm just checking. Give me your cell. I'll text you next time.
And comparing first half to second half,
yeah,
I don't have the stats for me. It seemed like Nevada's passing numbers seemed like they were passing the ball more chunk plays in the first half and the second half.
Yeah.
Were there any adjustments you guys made?
Well, we had a breakdown in communication, right, on the exchange route. They ran basically 1 and 2 switch. We call it an exchange route, and we had a breakdown in communication. And then they ran kind of like a slant and go, it looked like to me, on Jared that gave up the second big chunk play. Those are one-on-one situations that we've got to win. One's communication, one's technique and fundamental. It looked like he drove too hard on the route and didn't trust his under coverage. So, again, those are things that you got to learn from. And at the end of the day, I thought the secondary settled down as the game went along.
That 4th and 1 stop by your defense when you had the short lead. Talk about that, how that developed and what that told you about your defense.
Right, yeah. How about, first of all, I want to credit Nevada. I knew that Jay was going to come in and have his guys ready. We've played in my career now in Nevada 3 times, and all 3 have been just great football games from a battle standpoint. And when you play Nevada, that's what you're going to get. And, obviously I have to give a lot of credit to Jay and his staff. especially with what they're doing schematically. When next week's opponent will have a lot more information watching this tape than we had going into this game, right? So, we probably would have adjusted to some things earlier in the game. But with that being said, I think. Let's go. What was your question again, though? Yeah. So they put in a new quarterback, and they ran a formation. They hadn't run the whole game. How about that? Then we get a TFL for -2. I mean, it was one of those games, guys. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like every rep was like, oh, cool, that's new. Hey, so we knew that was the way it was going to be, and I thought our guys really responded because we had to do a lot of adjusting, and we've had to do this a bunch as a staff, and I'm really proud of the way the guys, the coaching staff, just they were doing a ton of teaching, ton of coaching, and then making the adjustments in little things. And then we'll have to do a great job, teaching from this video, fundamentally, technically first, and then obviously schematically some things that we'll take a look at. And then the guys have to have thick skin and learn, because I'm sure as I watch the tape, some of those self-inflicted wounds were in our control. I don't want to discredit Nevada, but some of those were in our control.
If I'm pronouncing his name right, Mo Al-Masri?
Yeah.
He ended up getting in there at the end.
Yeah, how about Mo?
Yeah,
it was
much
awesome.
about Mo.
Yeah, well, you get Paul's all over me about the two deep, on early in the week, and Mo not being on there, I guess I kind of hosed you guys a little bit, but we're just a little beat up back there right now, and then to have two guys go down again in game, you just next man up, and Mo was starting on I think 3 or 4 special teams, at least 3, so that the game was in the game, right? So now Mo's got to go in. Now I got to take him down off everything. We got to get the next guys up, and a couple guys hadn't played in the game yet. There's a lot of stuff going on today. It was a great first test for our staff. It was a great first test for a lot of our young men that have never played college football before. There were a lot of new faces out there, and they'll, if they come in with the right attitude and the right work ethic, they'll really learn from this experience. Yeah, of course. Anytime you have the number of guys in 1 week, we had 3 guys go down, right? If you count Keith, and 2 guys in games, so you get 3 in a week. You never have enough corners, but we'll make sure that we've got the guys ready to go. And I know the cavalry's coming. We hope to get some of the guys that weren't dressed today back here very quickly, and we'll see how that goes. And I'll make sure as soon as I know, I'll be very clear not to tell you. All right, sound good?
They say it's a cliche, but they say that the team improves the most from week 1 to week 2. So what are the things you'd like to see improve the most in your team in week 2?
Well, again, just without watching the tape, Paul, so I'm going to give you my snapshot and my blink, so to speak, just from the boundary. Penalties, eliminating big plays, explosive plays. I think you called them chunks earlier. Big plays that we gave up on defense. Got to be much better in third down efficiency in the first half offensively. It looked like we had some run-throughs by their linebackers that our O-line was targeting improperly, and their eyes were in the wrong spot. When we got hats on hats, Justin goes for 115. So maybe not a day that is going to go down in the record books, but the amount of guys that they had in the box and to still get over 100 yards was awesome. I thought Clayton responded pretty well to his interception. And he wasn't sure if he got tugged or he got hit, and the ball floated. I don't know. You guys see it? He get hit, or?
It didn't look like it, but it was such a bad pass.
Yeah, he said it just slipped out of his hand because he's like, that was wide open. What happened? I was like, I don't know. You tell me. So, but we went 4 out of 5 in the red zone. We got to look at, probably the big turning point was the interception that we gave up, and we held them to 3. Right? That was a big turning point. It was a great job, great response by our defense. And then we just got to coach our young guys up. We got to coach our young guys to play better. And then we got to coach our veterans to be big-time playmakers. But, you almost double up their time of possession, which we knew was going to be big. But 8 penalties for 90 yards is unacceptable. We can't have that. And, that was obviously disappointing.
Just comparing for a moment your Thorson tied a career high for passing today. Just comparing your receiving core this year to last year, and maybe making a comparison that isn't fair, but Ben Skowronek sort of had an Austin Carr-like day today. How are you feeling about your wide receivers after today?
I felt great about the wideouts going into the game. I thought we had better depth this year than maybe we've had in the last couple of years from the way that the guys have practiced. They put in great work. You're trying to compare one game to a Biletnikoff finalist? Yeah, I'm going to pause on that for a second. Give him about 12 more weeks, and then we'll talk about that. But I really love the way Bennett responded, right? We get a big fourth down conversion. He's got a great catch. I didn't see what happened where he had the ball and how he had his fundamentals, but I'm assuming he had his elbow away, and that's why the ball came out. And then he responds, and that's a sign. I mean, he's a true sophomore, right? And to see the way that he responded, I was very, very impressed by him, very proud of him. So good start to the year.
I thought Clayton took 2 real gambles. It was like 3rd and medium, and instead of going for something short, he went up top to Macon late in the game.
Yeah.
Is that his nature to push?
Yeah, I think he liked the matchup. I think he saw that Macon was even, and the old saying, if you're even, you're leaving. And he gave him a great catchable ball. I thought Michigan State last year, corner route, Austin, similar, right? Bowl game. He made a couple shots in the bowl game on 4th down that you just go, yeah. I mean, here's a guy who trusts his receivers. He trusts his ability. And, in those situations, man, you've just got to trust and believe in who you are and what you can do. And if you start thinking you're going to hesitate, and he's been through a lot of battles now. 18 wins as our quarterback? I don't know what the record is as a quarterback, but hopefully we can keep going on winning ways. Anything else, guys? Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Hang on, you're going to get in trouble.
I have kind of a double-parted question here. On the defensive line, Ben Axley rotated in at defensive tackle, and Rashawn Slater and Gunnar Vogel kind of rotated in at right tackle on the offensive side. Right. Do you anticipate that continuing, that kind of rotation?
Again, haven't watched the tape, so it's hard for me. And even when you ask me on Monday, I'm not going to tell you. But just full disclosure, I mean, we got to coach these guys. I mean, you're talking about, Ben, who hasn't been in a lot of games, and now for him to play his way, we changed him midway through camp. He was kind of going to be on the odd man out in the offensive line competition. And he's a big body that we really felt like we could use some extra depth inside, especially as we're building here in the season. And, we start getting on teams, especially like next week with Duke, who's got a big front, they want to run the football. So, with that being said, I'm really proud of him. The 2 freshmen, redshirt freshmen, true freshmen, I mean, that was the plan going in. Those guys were going to play a lot for us. We're going to play the guy who's playing better. If they're not playing, anybody, head and shoulders above the other, then we're going to rotate them and until one of those guys either takes the job or plays takes the job or plays his way out of it. So, based on the rotation, I'd say both were probably equally, as good and bad as, that's why the rotation stayed the way it is. But I didn't get that deep into it with Cush about why we still rotate him. That was just the plan we went into it. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Great. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend. All right. Go Cats. Thanks.